Hey friends, hey, welcome. We are having a little Monday night special workshop. I'm so excited for you guys to be on here and learn a little bit about this new process that Lois Powers, Executive Lois Powers, has been working on and perfected and had a lot of success with. And I'm also really excited because I know Melissa's gotten excited about this. And so Melissa has personally been walking me through her journey of using this simple strategy that Lois has kind of given a little bit more life to, I think is a good way to say it. It's nothing that we're not aware of. It's just something that's a little bit, I would say, perfected. Maybe is that a good word, Lois, to use? Perfected. And the strategy seems to be there. And so tonight's going to be a really cool Zoom. I know that we advertised this today only, so a lot of you couldn't get on. You're planning on catching the recording, which is perfect. We're so excited for those of you who are watching this recorded. And if you're watching it recorded, watch it at 1.5 times speed, because that just makes life better, right? You just get through really quickly. We will not be talking that fast though. But anyways, so Lois and Melissa are going to do a little bit of role play. Lois is going to teach and train. That's one of Lois's God-given gifts, is training and teaching. And they're going to walk us through. And then at the very end, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about an accountability group that we're going to start with this simple daily task. Okay. And it's going to really help you to really plant seeds in your business, because we know what we plant right now, we're going to harvest in 3 months. So it's August. So September, October, November. About November, come Black Friday, you can guarantee that these seeds are going to be harvesting, right? That's usually the natural progression of our business. And so, and then Melissa has also, and Lois together have created some amazing tools for us to utilize as we work through this process. And so I'm really excited about the tools that they've created, because, like sheets to help us track things and keep our brains in check. But the thing I love about it, Lois, the most is the simplicity of it and the way that you have it laid out. And then after I watched the training that you did with Melissa, I caught vision of it and like I had never seen before. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it to you, beautiful ladies, and let you show us your magic. So.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
Melissa, are you there? Okay, there you are.
Hello. So the way that we're going to kind of do this for you guys is, this is as if you're bringing on your newest person, and maybe they've already done a post, they've already kind of talked to their hot market, they've already maybe had a meeting, and now they're really trying to be strategic and purposeful with their social media. And so I'm the newest partner starting. And so we're going to kind of do a little bit of role play, and then I'm going to let Lois lead me through this process.
Perfect. I'm ready to go. Okay, so Melissa, I am going to go ahead and take the lead here, because again, throughout this role play, what you're going to see is how I'm going to walk Melissa through a training on how to be systematic as she reaches out to people about the business. So what we want you to know up front is that this way of doing this methodology or this tactic is very simple. I know that you already know this, but there's a difference between simple and easy. So I want you to know up front that it is not easy. There is work to be done, but it is simple. But what I want you to be aware of is that you are going to have to do the work to reach out and to try to give that initiation piece to your prospects. And we're going to specifically be talking about business prospects, because what we know is that the way to really duplicate and the way to really scale up your business very quickly is through partnerships. So we're going to be talking about partnerships. Now, we have a lot of different tactics that we can teach you. And particularly in this team, we have the best of the best leaders. So there's no end to the number of tactics that we can teach for you to be able to scale your business. But we are specifically going to be talking today about a method called 3-3-3 ITM. You may have heard this method called 333 ATM. It's exactly the same thing. I like to use the terminology I for invite instead of A for add, but it's exactly the same thing. This methodology is 333 ITM, or again, it can be said 333 ATM. So the first thing that I want you to be aware of, Melissa's my new partner that we're going to be training tonight. The first thing that I want you to be aware of is that this does not take the place of your initial list of 5 to 10 people, or another way to say that is your initial list of sitting down with a timer for 3 minutes and writing a list of all the people that you want to reach out to tell them about this exciting product that you found, or this exciting business opportunity that you found. This is not going to take the place of that. That is still something that is highly effective for getting contact into your warm market. We still want you to do that. But basically, this is a tactic that we can use to reach out to people that we know through social media. If you are one of those people that doesn't have a lot of friends to start with, that's okay. There's a place for this, even for someone that doesn't have many friends already, but this is going to help you to really capitalize on the friends that you do want to reach out to. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump right in and start talking to you about the ins and outs of how to work this method called ATM, or 333 ITM, or 333 ATM. You ready to go, Melissa?
Yep, I'm ready to go.
Okay, so I'm a very visual person. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to show you my book, where I'm keeping track of the people that I want to interact with through social media to take them through this process called 333 ITM. So my book this is very, very simple. This is actually, are you able to see it, Melissa?
Yes.
Okay. So actually in my book, this is just a composition notebook. I think they're maybe 99 cents right now at the store because school's going to be starting, but this is my actual notebook. So what you might notice about my notebook is I have 25 numbers down the side. And then I actually have some columns, and this is what we're going to actually be going through. I have 25 numbers. I have 25 names. And in my columns, what you're going to see is my first column says 333. I have left room to put 3 check marks beside each name as we go through this process. Next, you're going to see a B, and that stands for Band-Aid. And that might seem like a strange thing right now, but we will definitely get through that. And then either ATM or ITM are these next few columns. The last one is M for message. So very, very simplistic. We've got a composition notebook. We've got 25 numbers. We're going to fill in with 25 names. Then we're going to start the 333, the B for Band-Aid, the I or A for invite, T for tag, and M for message. Okay. That's how you're going to structure what you're going to be doing. So, I mean, have you ever sat down and thought, I'm going to sit down, I'm excited, I'm going to work, and you stare at your social media and you don't know who to talk to, you don't know who to reach out to. It's not that you don't want to do the work. It's not that you're not motivated. It's not that you're not ready and excited to work, but it is sometimes difficult to figure out, what do I do first, second, third, fourth, fifth? That's what we're going to talk about. So before you sit down to actually do the reach outs, my recommendation is that you go through and you make a list of at least 25 people. I would love to see you actually move to even page 2 and do a second set of 25 for a total of 50. That would give you a really, really good start. So on that prep work, getting your 25 to 50 names, who are you looking for? What you're looking for in that initial reconnaissance work, as Jan Berg calls it, what you're looking for in that initial work is you're looking for people that you want to get into their world. So one neat tip that Jan gave me when I was learning more about this process is that you can actually go on your social media, on your Facebook, for example, you can swipe all the way to the right on the stories at the top, and that will give you the latest story of, your on your story feed. And you can start to write those names down just by going from right to left. And you might write down the names of some people that have stories that you feel you enjoy seeing, that you might want to get to know that person better. You might have something in common with that person. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is just scroll through your feed, stopping to see what people's posts really catch your attention. Another thought would be maybe to go into a group that you're a member of. Maybe you're a member of a really large group and there are some members of that group that you feel like you might enjoy. You like their vibe, or you like their pictures, you kind of like their personality or what they're about. Those are ways to begin to create this list, and you're just going to keep after it until you have 25 or even better, 50 names on this list. So for the purposes of this particular training time, we're going to assume that you already have at least 25 names on your list. And you're going to sit down during your work time and you're going to start on the very first name on your list. So for example, the first name on my list is Chelsea. I'm going to go to Chelsea's story, and I'm going to comment and like on one of her stories. Okay. Then I'm going to put a check mark showing that I started on day 1 of interacting with Chelsea on her social media. So what I'm actually going to do, and the reason that the number is 3, is I'm going to comment and like 3 of her story tiles. I call them tiles. So 3 of the different stories I'm going to comment and like. And one of those, hopefully, I'm going to be able to ask a question. So for example, I go to Chelsea's page, Melissa, and Chelsea has a picture of her and her husband, and they're at a really cool looking vacation spot. So I might then say, that looks so amazing. Glad y'all were able to get out of the heat. Where are y'all at? Okay. The brilliance of commenting and liking stories and asking a question in stories is that when you comment or when you ask a question, it takes you directly into a messenger chat between you and that person. And that's what we want. We want to be able to interact in Messenger with that person that we're trying to get to know. So that's part of the 333 is the 3 comments, likes, or again, we hope that one of them at least be a question on their stories, but we're not done yet. Then we're going to go to their feed, and we want to find 3 posts that we can comment and like, and then again, you can ask a question there as well. So that particular person, Chelsea, day 1, is going to hear from me 3 times on 3 different story tiles. I'm going to like, and I'm going to comment or ask a question in 3 of those. I'm going to go to her feed. I'm going to do the same thing, but on post, 3 posts. I'm going to like and comment and or ask a question. So on day 1, I have interacted with Chelsea in 3 of her stories and 3 of her posts. That's day 1. The first day of 333 is now complete. I've got my check mark, so I know that I have finished day 1. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the next person on my list, Julia. I'm going to do the same thing. Like, comment, or ask questions in 3 of her stories and 3 of her posts. Okay. I'm going to check off Julia for day 1. Then I'm going to go to Jared, and then I'm going to go to Tanya, and then I'm going to go to Kimberly. So that's 5 people on day 1 that I have liked and commented or asked a question in 3 of their stories and also 3 of their posts. So for each of these people, I have touched them. If you include the likes, I have touched them 12 times, and that's only on day 1. Does that make sense where I'm getting that number? 12 times, 3 likes, 3 comments or questions. That's on story. And then another 3 likes, 3 comments and questions on their feed. So that's actually 12 touches on day 1. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And that's for 5 people. Okay. After I've done that, 3, 3, 3, for all 5, my day 1 work on the 333 ITM method is done. Because I
Okay, so
reached
how long should I set aside for that to take?
Okay. On day 1, you can, if you already have your list and you already know that this is the list of people that you want to reach out to, day 1, it will not take you very long. I would say you could probably get that done in maybe 15 minutes. Now, here's where the time varies, where it can take longer is if you go to her story and there's no story there. Or if you go to her page and she doesn't have a new post, that's where it can start to take a little bit of time, because if you go to her story or her post and there's nothing there, you may have to dig a little bit deeper. But when you start this, it doesn't take as much time. But the wonderful thing about this method is that it is going to snowball. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's say I go to day 2. Sit down for my time of work. I would say give yourself an hour on day 2. You sit down, it's time to do your work. I'm going to start back at the top of my list on those 5 that I originally touched on day 1. And guess what? I'm doing exactly the same thing on day 2 for them. So for Chelsea, Julia, Jared, Tanya, and Kimberly, I am now on day 2 of 3, 3, 3. Okay, I'm on day 2 of 3 days. Day 2, I'm doing the same thing I did yesterday, but not only am I doing number 1 through 5 on my list, I'm starting with number 6, and my number 6 through 10 on here, I'm starting 3, 3, 3 with them today on day 2. Okay, so what's going to happen with your list? On day 1, you're reaching out to those 5. On day 2, you are reaching out to those 5 from yesterday on day 2 of 333, but you're also starting day 1 on number 6 through 10. And you can see how this is going to grow. By the time you get to day 3, you're doing day 3 of 1 through 5 because it's their 3rd day. You're doing day 2 of number 6 through 10 because it's their day 2. And you're starting day 1 of number 11 through 15. So this is going to grow each day. Not only are you doing day 1 of one group of 5, you're doing day 2 also for one group of 5, and you're doing day 3 for one group of 5. So that's how this is going to grow. You're going to be reaching out to this list of 25 throughout your first week. 25 names will give you 5 to start every day of the work week. Okay, makes sense on that, Melissa?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, it looks like we had a question in the chat, not sure. Okay, so you only counted 6. Well, I'm counting 3 likes and 3 comments in the story for a total of 6. And then on that same person, 3 likes and 3 comments in their feed post for a total of another 6. And that's where I got the 12. Okay. So 12 touches a day. All right. Any questions here? Are we ready to move on?
Oh, that starts to make sense. I can see how it snowballs too.
Yes, it starts to snowball. Now, what is imperative is that you have your book. You will not be able to keep up with it without your book. You want to be able to sit down in front of your book and look at this and go, okay, look, I've got a check mark on day 1 for the first 5, but that's all I have. When you sit down day 2, you're going to come back and have a check mark on the a second check mark on the first 5, but you also are going to start 1 check mark on number 6 through 10. Okay. Day 3, when you sit down, oh gosh, I'm on my 3rd day. So I'm working on my 3rd set of check marks on names 1 through 5. I'm working on day 2 or my 2nd set of check marks on name 11 through 15. And I'm working on my 1st check mark on, on 11 through 15 would be my 1st check mark if you're on day 3. Okay, I hope that makes sense to everyone, that you're just systematically working through the days. You're starting 5 new ones every day throughout all 5 Monday through Friday of your days. Okay, now we're going to switch gears for a minute, and now we're going to talk about what do you do when you have your 3 days in a row of 3 stories where you're touching them, 3 posts where you're checking on them, and you do that 3 days in a row. Well, then what? Because by this point in time, you've reached out to this same person by commenting or asking a question on their stories and on their posts. You've done that 3 days in a row. So they've seen your name coming up in their notifications quite a bit over 3 days. So what's probably going to happen is they're going to go to your post or your stories and go, okay, who is this person? That's, gosh, they like all the stuff I'm doing. They're liking my stories. They're liking my posts. They're asking me questions. Who is this person? So chances are they're going to go to your social media presence and they're going to get to know you a little bit. You may even notice that they start commenting and liking your stuff, but they're checking you out because you've been involved in getting into their world. And that's the goal for this first phase, is that you're getting into their world. You're getting to know about them. They're seeing your name and they're getting to know about you. You have at least that familiarity with one another before you do the part that we're going to train on right now, which is the Band-Aid. It's kind of a strange name, right? But this is a training that way back when, oh gosh, it's been a while. A lot of us went through a training similar to this over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I believe her name was Marie Simone. And then Fraser Brooks, if you followed Fraser Brooks, this is all the same type of training that we were exposed to once before, but we never really came up with a systematic way to do it and got really good at it. We didn't stick with it long enough to get really good at it, and it works. And what I'm asking you to do is to get good at this, to get comfortable with it, because it does work and it is going to scale your business. So the B stands for Band-Aid, and basically it's ripping off the Band-Aid. Okay. How many of us have spent time sending messages and interacting with somebody through social media forever and ever and ever, building rapport, building a relationship, and then it gets harder and harder to ask them to take a look at your business, because by that point it feels a little bit icky sometimes to go, you know what, we've spent all this time talking, but I really just want to ask you a question. Are you interested in taking a look at my product or opportunity? And that can feel a little bit icky. The beauty of this system is you're on day 3 or 4 and you are already ready to pull that Band-Aid off and ask them if they want to take a look. They are acquainted with you. They are familiar with you. You're familiar with them. So you can ask a genuine message, and it doesn't feel like you've been spending months and months and months trying to get to know them, when really all you wanted to do is ask this question. So the Band-Aid message, you're just going to sit down and you're going to do it. Some people choose to pull the Band-Aid off on day 4. Others, after they've done their 3rd day of the likes and the comments and the questioning on their story and on their post, they go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off message that day. It's completely okay for you to do it either way. What I like to do is I really like to do the Band-Aid message on day 3. I like to do it on the same day as my last day of commenting and posting on their story and on their feed. But however you want to do it is absolutely fine. Let's talk about what that Band-Aid message looks like. So I have a message. I have mine written out. I don't have to use this anymore, but I still have it. And this is some verbiage that I got from Cora Hoffman, who has done a fabulous training. She's been doing this method for a really long time and having great success. So I reached out and I asked her some questions to see if she would help me with some questions, which she graciously was willing to do, as well as Jan Berg. So this is my Band-Aid message. So Melissa, let's assume that I have been commenting and liking and asking maybe a question here and there on your stories and on your post. And now day 3, I'm finished with the 333. And now I'm ready to ask you a question. This is what that might look like. Hey, Melissa, it might look like I've been stalking your page with all the likes and comments. I promise you, I'm not a weirdo, but I really love what you post on your social media. I love how positive you are. I love how you say such kind and encouraging things about being a mom and being a wife. And I wanted to ask if you've ever thought about how you could make money by posting on your wall. Are you open to hearing what I do? If not, no worries, but I think that you would be awesome. And I wanted to reach out and ask if I could share what I do with you. That's it. Did that feel creepy to you? Did it feel real salesy? No, that's the Band-Aid message. The beauty of the Band-Aid message is that you just rip it off and do it. It's not necessarily in the words. It's not necessarily in the exact verbiage, just be you. But the components of the Band-Aid message are first that you acknowledge that, yeah, you have been commenting and posting quite a bit. And the question in their mind is why? Why is this lady posting and commenting on my stuff so much? So you acknowledge that, hey, it might feel like I've been, stalking your page. I promise I'm not a weirdo, because that's what they're wondering. Is she a weirdo, or does she really genuinely like what I have to say? So you're just going to rip it off and say that right up front. And then you're going to just ask them, hey, have you ever thought about how you can make money by posting on your wall? Are you open to hearing what I do? Sometimes I'll also say, I currently make 100% of my income just through posting on my social media. Sometimes I'll add that additional qualifier on there. It depends on the person, but I wanted to give you just kind of a template of what I say. Now, one thing I want to share with you, it has happened that I am going through my 333 on somebody, and I realize, you know what? I don't think this person would be a good fit for my business. I don't feel like they would be a good fit. And there's some criteria that I kind of look at to see if they would be a good fit. And if I see something that makes me believe that they're not really a good fit for being a partner with me in my business, I will shift gears on the Band-Aid message, and I will say, after I've said the part about, you might think I've been stalking your page, or I promise I'm not a weirdo. I just have, loved getting to know you through your post. Has anyone ever shared with you about Zingular? I don't yet know if you've noticed from my page, but I help busy women to live a life they love through better health and increased income. And I'd love to have you on my team and help you reach your goals. Would you be open to hearing how I help others reach their health goals? So see how I shifted? I did a pivot. I didn't waste the 3 days that I've been spending on the 333. But even though I decided not to talk to them and do the Band-Aid message on business, you can still pivot and ask them if anyone's ever shared with them about Zingular products and how they could feel better, look better, whatever. Y'all all have your own verbiage of how you do your reach out for a product. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because that sometimes happens, that you just get to that point and for whatever reason, they're not a really good fit. Okay, so we've gone through what is the 333? It's 3 comments, 3 posts on both their stories and both are on their feed. Okay, and that's one day. You do that 3 days in a row. Okay, 3 stories, 3 posts, 3 days in a row for 5 people. And then the next day you go to the next 5. Okay, so once we've done the Band-Aid message, really 3 things are going to happen when you send that Band-Aid message that please don't skip the Band-Aid message. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. That's why it's called ripping off the Band-Aid, because you just have to do it. You just have to do it. You can't wait. You just have to do it. You know, a tactic is only that. A tactic is a way of doing something. But if you don't actually take the step, then that tactic is worthless to you. We've got a lot of people not making any money on their social media tactics and strategies because they don't ever go from attraction to initiation. This is the step to get to initiation. And where you make money in your business is once a prospect has initiated a paying relationship with you. Okay. So don't skip pulling the Band-Aid off. Okay. That's the door that they have to walk through. Okay. 3 things are going to happen. Whenever you do the Band-Aid message, either number 1, they're going to ghost you, and it happens. Sometimes people don't respond at all. Okay. Number 1. Sometimes they come back and say no, but I guarantee you most of the time they say no, but I really would like to take a look at your products, because they've been looking at your page and they've been getting to know you, right? And they might say, no, I'm really too busy right now, or I've got a job that I love, but what kind of products do you sell? Or what do you do? I mean, they'll ask some questions, or they'll say yes. They will say yes, y'all. You will get yeses. Now, it is a numbers game. Statistically, some you get better. And as you get better, your statistics improve. But usually what we find is after about 10 people, you're going to have about 3 saying, sure, I'd like to take a look at what you're doing. Okay. So if you reach out to 10 people and typically 3 are willing to take a look at what you're doing, isn't that exciting? That's awesome. That is awesome, because you have a systematic way of doing it. Okay. So we're going to jump to what do we do if they say yes? Okay. What do we do? Well, the first thing you're going to do, yes, Melissa's saying yes. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to invite them to our Facebook page, because we are going to leverage that page. Because if you do this and you commit to it, you're going to be in more conversations. You're going to have more leads than you know what to do with. You won't be able to say, I don't have anybody to talk to. And I'm going to be honest, that's where I was not 2 months ago. I was like, what on earth has happened in my business? I don't have anybody to talk to. My funnel was dry. But this works, and this is going to get people back in your funnel as you're talking and having conversations and reaching out with this Band-Aid message. So if they say yes, the first thing you're going to do is invite them. So Melissa, do you want to share what page you want your team inviting to? Because different people have different pages for inviting to.
Yes, I suggest that we invite to Limitless.
Okay, awesome. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to invite them to the Limitless page. Perfect. Then you can say, I've invited you to an awesome page. Take a look. Do not tell them too much about the page. You don't want them to know about the page. You want them to join the page. Okay. So you can just say, excellent. I've invited you to a page called Limitless. Take a look. So then you're going to make your check mark in the column you invited them. The minute they accept, you're going to tag them in the welcome message at the top of the Limitless page. Then you're going to go to your handy dandy little column and you're going to put a check under the column for T for tag. Then you go back to that chat with them and you say, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a chat with you and I and some of my business partners, because I want you to hear some awesome stories about how they, maybe what Zingular has done for them, or maybe what this opportunity's done for them, however you want to say it. You're not going to ask them, can I put you in a chat? But you are going to tell them that you're going to add them to a chat. Then I recommend you add them to a chat with you and maybe 3 other people, because this is going to be a place where they actually get to see that this is real business, this is real money, this is awesome people, because they're going to get to hear those stories, and they're going to hear those stories within that chat where they're feeling like they are already becoming a part of a community and they have a seat at the table. So quickly to review, because we're just about done through this process. So quickly to review, you pull the Band-Aid off. They say sure, which is the number one response of a yes, is like a, yeah, sure. You're going to invite them to Limitless. Once they accept, you're going to tag them in the welcome video. You're going to tell them that you're going to start a messenger chat. You actually start that messenger chat. So Melissa, I would want for you and I to be in the messenger chat with these 3 other people. And then I'm going to put a check mark on Messenger so that I know I've done all of the steps all the way through. If I sit down and I see that I don't have a tag on where it says Messenger, then I know either I better get that message put together, or I need to do a follow-up because they haven't responded at all. Okay. And for me, what a follow-up means, if someone hasn't responded to me at all, I just go back to their page. I don't do another 3, but I may go back to their page and like something or do a simple comment. I do something to get my face or my name back in front of them again, because maybe they just forgot to respond to my message. Maybe they got it and they were thinking about it, or they were at a ball game. So I do go back and respond. I do a message again just to get my name in front of them again. That is the entire system of 333, Band-Aid, invite, tag, message, and then of course you're going to do the follow-up, and it works. So that's it. That is a very thorough explaining. I hope that made sense to everyone. You're doing systematically going through 25 a week this way, and guess what? Next week you start over because you got your second 25 for next week. You have your list to take to be able to see what you're doing and to keep track of it. One quick thing, I get a lot of questions about Teamzy, and I do love Teamzy. I do not put these names in Teamzy until they say yes. Now, at the point that they say yes, they're willing to take a look, I put them in Teamzy so that I can start the follow-ups in Teamzy. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. A very thorough explanation. Anyone should be able to take this recording and start this system. Any questions, Melissa?
I don't think I've got a lot of questions right now. I just need to start doing it. So I know when you and I went over it, my biggest question was just on the ripping the Band-Aid off. Do I voice message it? Do I text it? What were your experiences? And then I'll actually share what mine have been since I started this 3 weeks ago.
That's a great question. I'm a fan of voice clips. I am a fan. I think that in a voice clip, they can hear your excitement. They can hear that you're friendly, and it feels more like a friend talking to a friend. Sometimes I do use text, but it just really depends. If I'm in bed late at night and I'm trying to send a message and maybe my husband's sleeping, then I might send a text message. But for the most part, I use voice clip.
Okay. And then there was another question over here in the chat. Do you ever rip the Band-Aid off before day 3?
No.
Okay. You're still building that relationship.
still building that relationship, I'm just trying to stay really consistent to the system, because people that are a lot smarter than me have created this system and have been using the system and have had great results. It does feel a little awkward to me. When you start, you'll realize that it's kind of a little awkward that you're commenting on 3 stories and 3 posts on the same day. It feels like a lot. So that was a little bit awkward. There are certainly days that, like I go to do day 2, and let's say that Dina's, one of my people, and I go to Dina's page on day 2, and Dina hadn't posted again. She hadn't posted anything since I commented yesterday, and it's like, oh, what do I do? So you're kind of digging down, looking for more stuff to comment on. Though sometimes it's a little bit wonky, but I'm trying to do the full 3 days in a row.
Yeah. Okay. And I will tell you, so you guys, since I started this, I'm going to share with you a couple of tips and tools that I discovered. So a few things. One is, for me, texting has been better, because I think a lot of my people don't respond to my voice messages. I don't know why, but I get ghosted a lot more when I'm voice messaging. Partly, I think it could be I have a lot of people that are riding horses or working. Mm-hmm. And so therefore they're on their social media when they shouldn't be. So they can't listen to a voice message at work, right? Or they shouldn't be listening to, so sometimes texting for me has given a little bit better response, but I've had to reword some of the rip the Band-Aid off messages. I've taken the formats that we have over in boards, and it's under the 333 section in the Hope Giver board. I've taken that format and I've rewritten my own rip the Band-Aid off message. Okay. I will also tell you, I have struggled at ripping the Band-Aid off. And so you just got to go do it. Just like Lois said, you've just got to do it. It's so important for you to go ahead and do it, and make sure that you're definitely getting the information out there, because you never know if they're going to say yes or no. The other thing is, on some of my rip the Band-Aid off messages, I have also realized that some of my younger people aren't on Facebook as much. So I've gone to find them on Instagram, and I've started all over again. 333 relationship building on Instagram. I also have a few of them that I've actually, if I have their phone numbers, because like I had one gal who is in her 20s, and she actually used to be a distributor underneath me. I just started connecting with her. I messaged her, I texted her, I checked in on her, went back because I had her phone number. Okay. So I think that that's important for you guys to do. The last thing I did kind of want to share with y'all, I do have a, let's see, I'm going to share with you my Google Drive. I think it will share. I don't know if you guys can see this while I'm pulling it up. If you can't, that's okay. I'll just share my screen. It might take slower. Let me just share my screen instead of my drive. Okay, so in my Google Drive, I've created, instead of doing a notebook, because for me, I'm on the go a lot. Now, if you have a computer and you're sitting down at home and you're working your power hour, do a notebook, okay? But for me, it's sometimes easier to go in and do it through Google Drive. Like, I just spent 3 hours at the vet office, you guys, getting horses worked on. Okay. So I go to my Google Drive. I see all this.
No, we can't see it.
Okay. And here's my 333 method. Right now. Is it sharing for y'all?
No, Melissa,
No.
it's not pulling up.
Okay. I don't know why. Let me take Lois's spotlight off. Maybe that's why. Sorry, Lois. And I'll remove the spotlight on me too, because I had it on me. Hold on. But it's a Google Drive doc, and you can go in and you have to make a copy. Okay, you can't use mine. You got to go in and make a copy. Kaylee, can you remove the spotlight off me? There we go. Hold on. Okay, now let me try. Share screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Give me a
Yes,
thumbs up
can
if you
see
can
it
see my
now.
screen. Okay, there you go. Okay, I had to turn my truck off. That's why. For some reason, your new trucks have a feature they don't like you driving and watching things. Okay, so I go in day one, 3 stories, like, comment, ask question, 3 stories, like, comment. So see, it's got my method here, the rip the band-aid off, and I've got my people that I'm doing this with. Okay, and I've created Monday. Who are they? Did we do it? Yes. Tuesday, right? Wednesday. So I've got them all, and I've said today, for the rest of this week, I've still got people I've got to go back in and add. So what I'm going to do on these is I'm going to go back through my people that are following me, liking and commenting, and the people that already have stories, because that's the other thing that I've discovered. There's a lot of my people that don't necessarily post a story. And so that's where I've been able to go back through and find some of my prospects and talk to people. Okay. So you guys can use a Google Doc to track if you'd like. So does that help?
I've also seen people that have just a one page that looks like this that they can just fold up and put in their purse. So if something like this is too big to throw in your purse and keep with you, then you could also do like a one sheet thing. But the power is in actually doing the reach outs. So that's what you have to do. Whatever format you have, whether it's digital or a notebook or you write it on your hand, the power is actually doing the reach outs and then having a system to follow up with them and to get them into your world. You're into their world, they're into your world.
Yes. And I will tell you guys, I have been doing, since we got back from seeing Fling, I was doing the 2x2s, and then I was trying to do a 5x5. Well, what that meant to me is I was trying to reach out to 2 people a day about the business, 2, people a day about the products, 2 people a day, new friends, right? I was doing that. Well, then I was trying to do a 5x5. But when I was reaching out to the people for the business, most of them I hadn't been building a relationship with. Most of them, they already kind of knew me a little bit as an acquaintance, but here I was just going through my Facebook friends and I was going and messaging them right off cold turkey. And I wasn't getting any yeses that people wanted to look at the business. Okay. When I started this, I was getting yeses. And I also have found the first 5 people that I did it with, I got 3 of them. They all 3 said yes. Okay. They've gone in. Nobody's signed up yet as a business partner. I have had more conversations though about people being partners, and I did get 2 new business partners, but it's because I felt more confident in my conversations from asking people to join me through sending out so many rip off the Band-Aid messages that then when I was out and about and I was following up with the 2 people that joined as partners within the last 2 weeks for me, one I've been working on for over a year. The other one I've been working on since last December. Okay. But I felt more confident because I have a method now to honestly teach them what to do. But I also felt more confident because I just was out there in the habit of doing it. And I was also discovering that some of the people that were saying yes were people that were already customers in my downline. We're already people using the products, and now they know that I'm actually one of their upline, or I'm actually a partner of their selling, and they know there is an opportunity with the products that they know that they like and love because they were somebody that had used through somebody, so they were like on my 5th and 6th levels, and I was like, wow, these are all people that have rolled up in the now, and now they know the products that they have been ordering for years, there's actually a way for them to get them paid for. So
okay. I want to share
so
one. I just want to share one quick thing. If you can get to the point that you're inviting them and they're accepting your invite to Limitless, even if the trail goes cold in the messages, or even if they get to that point and they, maybe haven't said yes yet, they are seeing what's going on in that page. And they have a true introduction to that page. It's not just some page they don't know what it's about. So just remember, this is sequential for a reason. The steps are laid out sequentially for a reason. It makes a difference the way that these steps work. So that's going to be helpful to you. And in time, you're going to have people come back around that have been watching the Limitless page and seeing the post, and they're going to come back around. So don't forget to do that part of it, because that's going to be real important for you.
Well, fantastic. I love it. So we are ready to go. I hope you guys are.
Hey, Melissa, don't forget to let me talk about the group that we're going to do.
Okay, great. Yes. So to help you be more to implement better, to not just be strategic, but to start implementing better, Crystal has a challenge for us. I'm going to let her take it over.
Okay, cool. And meanwhile, come get in my car because I'm here to pick you up, Melissa.
Okay.
So, Melissa, I honestly have to tell you guys, I am really excited about this because, like Melissa said, and Lois, thank you. This is so valuable. Your teaching is so effective. You're so good at this. And I've watched you now do this twice, and I feel like I've got my brain wrapped around it. So what Melissa and I want to do, and Lois, we want to implement a challenge group for you guys. Now, this group isn't going to be for everybody. And this is just going to be a basic check-in group where we just talk to you. Kaylee, we might need a couple people to mute. Where we just visit with, or we just check in daily and we say, got our 333 done, got our 333 done. 5 days a week. Okay. I don't know. Lois, are you doing it 7 or 5 days?
No, actually mine is 6 days a week. I'm doing 6 days a week.
Okay. So that's what I'll do too. I was trying to think, I can do it Saturdays. I try really hard not to work on Sundays, but yeah, absolutely can do it on Saturdays. So 6 days a week, got your 333 done, and you're keeping with your process. Like I said, this group isn't going to be for everyone, and that's okay. We don't expect everyone that's going to want to do this, but for the ones that want to grow their business, that want the accountability, that want to be held responsible just like the rest of us do, and we want to grow, this little group will be for you. Okay. We're going to do some prizes. We're going to make it fun. We're going to do some cash pots. It's going to be fun because that's what we do. We create a game into it, right? If you think this group is something that you want to be a part of, Melissa and I are going to work on partnering with Lois and whoever our executives that want to do this. We're going to work on getting it put together this week and have it rolling out by maybe end of this week or early next week. Okay, that's our timeline. And like we said, we hope that this grows and continues because the power behind planting these seeds is going to be exponential for your business. Now, this isn't the only thing that you're doing for your business. It's like Lois said, this doesn't take the place of everything. This is just when you are confused or you're stressed or you sit down like I did today and your brain is going in 1,000 different directions because you're fixing to take your kid to college this week. It gives you some focus. Focus is so critical, you guys. So let us know if you want this. If you're watching the replay, reach out and say, I want to be a part of this group. And we will get you the details on that. And then Lois and Melissa, is there anything else that we want to add before we jump off?
I don't think
You
so.
can do it. You can.
Okay, I see a lot of people saying they want to be in the accountability group, so that's great.
Make sure you message Melissa and I so we know, and we will I don't think so. We'll get that rolling. So okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on. Lois, thank you again. We love you so much. You guys give Lois some love, message her, tell her how awesome she was. Because she's pretty amazing. And
My
we love
pleasure.
Lois Marsh. Thank you guys. Have a happy Monday.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.